So I'm back. So it's been a minute since I made a video outside of the proof that astrology is real, doing the celebrities' birth charts. That's all I've been doing recently. So, because I haven't really had no ideas of videos to make about astrology besides that, because most things then already been talked about before, as far as the top five zodiac signs that do this or do that. And when it comes to compatibility, that there's a bunch of channels and there's a bunch of videos on YouTube about basic astrology stuff. But this is my channel, so this supposed to be my own insight and my own views on things that might be different than other people and other astrologers and people on YouTube. So I gotta remember that I just didn't want to make the same videos that everybody else was making. So, I didn't want to make something unless I can bring my own little creative twist to it, per se. So, anyway, that's why I haven't made no other videos besides the birth charts in a while. But I'm back now. So, I want to make these videos. I'm gonna go through them all. This video first is why fire signs and water signs typically not compatible, and what does make them sometimes, work out. Because sometimes, because we know that typically they say that air signs go with air signs and fire signs go with fire signs and fire and air signs, and earth signs go with earth signs and water signs go with earth signs and water signs. We know typically that's what they say about compatibility, but we know too, especially if you following me, that everybody has their own birth chart. So when people bring up, okay, well, it says that air signs usually not compatible with water signs, or fire signs usually not compatible with water signs, but you will see couples, like you will see a Scorpio and an Aries, or you will see a Leo and Pisces, or something like that, or a Gemini and a Pisces. I done seen a couple of them relationships. So it makes you wonder, like, okay, how did that happen? But you know that your entire birth chart matters. So you could be a fire sign, like let's say you a Sagittarius, and then the person that you dating is a Pisces. So typically that wouldn't be compatible. But let's say that you have a Cancer moon or a Pisces moon, or they got a Sagittarius moon or a Gemini moon. Like, like y'all moon signs might be compatible usually, or y'all Venus could be compatible, because we know that Venus kind of can tell how compatible you is, and that's the planet that you look at when it comes to relationships with people and your relationship style. So that's why people whose sun signs don't match, they could still get married and still be in a relationship, because I guarantee every time that I look, usually they moon signs match up also. It's rare that I ever seen somebody whose sun and moon signs not compatible and then they end up working out. Especially if they Venus. Like if your sun, moon, and Venus is not compatible with somebody, I don't see that working, and I haven't seen that working yet. But anyway, getting back into it. So yeah, so yes, fire signs can date water signs. That's why, because your birth chart is probably compatible, your moon sign or Venus signs lines up. But typically it's not a good match. And even if your moon signs is compatible, or your Venus, if your sun signs don't match, it's still always gonna be a little bit of difference there, a little bit that y'all have to overcome to make it work. Because we remember your sun sign is the way that you think. So the way that y'all think is gonna be different. And that's what's getting into part of the reasons why fire signs and water signs don't get along. Because like I said, just that's what this video is about. Next video will be probably about air signs and earth signs, or earth signs and fire signs, or something like that. But strictly the fire and water signs, the main reason why fire signs and water signs are typically not compatible, what I have witnessed, not nothing I looked up, what I witnessed from my own eyes, and what makes perfect sense, is because fire signs are known for being blunt, straightforward, and impulsive. Water signs are known for being emotional, moody, nurturing, and them type of things. So a fire sign is always going to typically hurt a water sign's feelings. It's really that simple, and we know that. Like a fire sign is a little bit too blunt and straightforward and careless for a water sign. A fire sign can end up hurting a water sign feelings all the time, just saying stuff. saying the blunt, straightforward. 'Cause with a water sign, you have to be more caring, nurturing, and caring about their feelings. And that's not something that fire signs really don't care about, that type of stuff. So that's why typically fire signs will go with other fire signs, because they both can be blunt and straightforward, and they can dish it and take it, and they can understand that about each other. Same for air signs, is that air signs can be more blunt and straightforward also, but then they can be able to understand where the fire signs coming from and not take it too seriously, because air signs also is not dealing with emotions, they dealing with logic and mental, so they are not going to get in their feelings about it. They're going to internalize it and intellectualize it, and okay, they said this, okay, like they can, especially if there's some truthful to it, because air signs can respect fire signs, being truthful. And of course, them being in a fiery nature, that helps, air signs get out of their head or whatever. But that's the number one reason why water signs and fire signs don't get along, because water signs can feel like fire signs are too blunt. They don't care about their feelings. They not nurturing enough. And then fire signs, of course, gonna feel like water signs is too emotional. Like, you too emotional to me. Like, you doing too much. Like, especially like, because typically a lot of Aries and Scorpios go together. Aries and Scorpio typically go together because they both rule by Mars. And well, they both was ruled by Mars. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto in modern times, but they both share that Mars aggression. So they can get along a lot, because they could both be passionate. So they can be real passionate and outgoing to each other, and they can understand that about each other. But and then the same for, I know a lot of Gemini and Pisces go together, because they can speak to Gemini. Like, Pisces are hopeless romantics, and Pisces, like to live love stories. And we know Geminis like to write poems and sweet talk. And, so that can really get into a Pisces feelings, Gemini saying all of the right things. And then you got Cancer and Leo. So if the Leo, because a lot of Leos are known for being outgoing, but Leos is the lion. So a lot of Leos are homebodies and care about their family, like, Cubs, that of a lion. Like, a lot of Leos can be family orientated and care about the home, just like Cancer. So they can connect on that level of both of them caring about family and the home life. So there is things that can be compatible and can work. And then, of course, the number one thing with fire and water signs that they gonna be compatible with is sex. Like, like fire and water signs, sex can be lit. It can be great. Like Aries and Scorpio, they can both be passionate with each other. And then, Gemini and Pisces, the sex can be good, because the Gemini know how to be romantic, and that's what the Pisces like. And then, so, like all of that can work. That's how they can be compatible, and the relationship can work on a sexual level. That's usually why a lot of fire and water signs do get together, or will stay together, because of the sex or whatever. But outside of that, like I said, it's that on a steady type of level. Then we know fire signs, like I said, are impulsive. Every sign cheats, because water signs could cheat too. So it's not necessarily about that, but it could just be that both, like, don't understand each other. And that's why it's coming down to the sun sign, the way that they think. They just think differently and want different things. Like, the water sign could want something more stable, want to stay at home, want to be like more laid back, to where the fire sign just want to be a go-getter out there, doing its own thing. And that can kind of rub the water sign the wrong way, because, water sign, they need to be nurtured. They want to spend quality time. They want to have that deep, connection. And the fire, that can be something that fire signs don't typically want, like a Sagittarius, because I know about Sagittarius dating a Scorpio, and that was their problem, that the Sagittarius was doing Sagittarius things, always on the move, always on the go, not wanting something serious, and Scorpio wanted something serious. That's why typically water and earth signs go together, because they both create stability for the most part. They want somebody there, where Sagittarius, Aries, and Leos, they can be, they can like to be single, they can like to just be out there and do things. They not gonna be as grounded as a water sign would want. So that could cause a lot of problems too. Then both can be vindictive, and they can get into real bad fights and want to kill each other even because we know that it's two like because both of them are fillers, but it's just different. Like water signs are fillers, but they dealing with the emotions, sad, happy, glad. Fire signs are dealing with the feelings, but it's more like passionate, outgoing, wanting to do something. So both of them can definitely, water signs and fire signs probably the most known for being violent and violent and confrontational because they so much in they about their feelings in different ways. And fire signs are passionate and out there, and then water signs, they are in emotions. Most serial killers is water signs. So that can end up making it go left. But yeah, so to me, that's the main reason why water signs and fire signs typically don't get together because the way that they think is different and a fire sign can be a little bit too much for the emotional nature of a water sign. Like they can be too blunt and straightforward and hurt the water sign feelings a lot. Then they can be like, too out there and not stable enough for a water sign. And then we know that fire and air, they put each other out. So that can happen a lot to where, they argue a lot, they clash a lot. So that's why typically fire signs and water signs don't go together. And then I even gave y'all the reason why sometimes they do go together. Even either the charts lines up, they moon sign, Venus sign lines up, or they're together because, or it's like a Aries and Scorpio, a Gemini and Pisces, or a Leo and Cancer for the reasons why I already gave. And of course all three because of the sex. So I'm out.